Welcome to the High Vibe Moms Club, the podcast for ambitious women ready to ditch burnout, diet culture, and mom guilt so they can feel hot, healthy, and radiant from the inside out. I'm your host, Shannon Getz, and this isn't just another wellness podcast. It's a movement. If you're ready to raise your vibe, reset your health, and step into your most confident self, you're in the right place. So today we're talking about something that so many women feel but rarely say out loud, and that is desire. So today I am joined by Dr. Julie Merriman, a leading voice in helping women reconnect with their desire, confidence, emotional vitality, especially in midlife. And through her Desire Reboot framework, she has helped hundreds of women move from exhaustion and shame to feeling fully alive and embodied again. Who doesn't want that? So this is such an important conversation about pleasure, identity, and reclaiming yourself in every season of womanhood. So Julie, thank you so much for being here today. I am so excited for today's topic.
I am so honored to be here. Thank you for allowing me to be here and share.
Yes. So before we dive into today's topic, I want to know what led you to your work that you do today.
Well, that's a good question. The first book I wrote, In Pursuit of Soul Joy, was all about my crispy fried crash, where I did everything wrong. And I woke up one day and I was so flippin' numb. I just didn't understand what had happened. And I have a PhD in in counseling, was not practicing what I preached by any means. As I came back online from my burnout and compassion fatigue, I realized that I'm 63. This was in my mid 40s. I had aged. My body was doing some different things. I wasn't showing up in life like I used to before the burnout. And I got very curious about what in the world is going on with me? Where did my desire go? Where did my fire go? Why am I still numb? I mean, I'd come back online some, but not like I wanted to. During, of course, hormones, we worked on all that, but I also learned I had to get my nervous system regulated so that I could enjoy desire again. And so it was a personal journey, and then it became a personal passion to share. I've got a book coming out in April called Are We Going to Have Sex or What? Which is what I said to my husband on our first date, but it's a guide for women in midlife to learn how to come back online rather. Girl, here's the word, feel alive. I have lost that aliveness. That I think we stay on autopilot too much.
Absolutely. So many women are dealing with that. Like, is this all there is? Like, what's happening? Almost like you feel stuck. Like, there's got to be something more.
You took the words out of my mouth. That's absolutely right. And especially when you arrive at a certain age and you think, is this all there is? I've worked my butt off for this. Yeah. So trying to learn how to embrace my desire, embrace my body, embrace who I am at whatever age really led to this work.
And so you talked a little bit, mentioned hormones, and I know that's like such a buzzword right now. Everybody's like, oh, it must be my hormones. That's what's going on, perimenopause, whatever it may be. So women who think that the link to low desire is only a hormone issue, and you briefly talked about the nervous system, can you explain what's really going on in our very complex bodies?
Right. And
we lack that desire.
Yeah. And I never want to negate hormones. I always want to give them a big hug and kiss because estrogen has been my best friend for a lot of years. But when we look at nervous system, especially for any of us that might be overachievers, or I don't know, just as a woman who's running a household, raising kids, keeping a marriage together, helping aging parents, being the emotional support person in the
Everyone.
room most of the time. Our emotion, our our nervous system takes a hit. It
Mhm.
stays, it we are surviving on this cocktail of stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline. It's being dumped to keep us going at the level we have to go to keep
Mhm.
everything tied together. And we arrive at a certain age and we are, our body, our nervous system is stuck in survival. And the
Mhm.
very first thing that's going to go, our brain is very stingy with energy. The very first thing that's going to go when we're stuck in that survival mode is pleasure and desire. So
No.
I know. We need those endorphins and oxytocin, but
Yes.
our body's gone, look, sister, you've given me the message. You got business. So I'm taking this off the table. And it
Mm.
takes just a little while to thaw, to go through that nervous system thaw. And as I work with ladies and they're going through that thaw because it's their work. I'm just the tour guide. As they're going through that thaw, some things can come up, emotions that we have compartmentalized.
Mhm.
Migraines will come to surface because we've been so busy doing, we aren't feeling
Mhm.
or being. We
Mhm.
are a floating head of competence, disembodied. So a lot of that work, girl, I'm going to say the first work is this journey from your head to your heart, when 15,
Mhm.
18 inches, longest one you're ever going to take.
Oh yeah.
It,
Yes.
it is a journey. But once we start getting re-embodied, once we build some new neural pathways, help our nervous system understand how to regulate and settle,
Mhm.
you find just this spaciousness. And libido, it requires bandwidth and spaciousness. And when
Mhm.
we are having obligatory sex where our to-do list, oh my God, the kids have baseball tomorrow. Oh my God, I have to do the fruit plate. Did I do this? Oh,
Yes.
did I leave my computer on at work? Oh, I forgot to tell my admin. I mean, when our brain is doing all that during sex, our body gets the message, okay, this really is just obligation. I'm not here to enjoy.
Yeah, no, my poor husband, there's times where, I'm like, are you not thinking about anything? Like, you're just sitting here, just like, I'm like, yeah, we got to get the kids lunches packed. We got to do this. There's this never ending to-do list where I'm like, okay, stop, Shannon, stay present, stay in the moment. There's nothing you can do right now about any of those things. But still, as a mom, as a woman, we're always like, we're so complex of thinking what's next. And I'm like, babe, how are you just like one focus? He's like, how are you not?
Yeah. What are you thinking about?
Exactly. And so, do you have anything for the women, the mamas, when we feel like we're stuck with so many things open, essentially? Like we have all the tabs open on our computer. When
All
it
the
is
time.
time to not just think of, sex as another task, but more of, I don't want to say like, oh, it's on the to do list, but
But it
I
is.
have a hard time, and I know other moms too, is to just quiet the mind and just to fully indulge and enjoy versus the never ending to do list.
Yeah. Because it's survival. We're overfunctioning. We overfunction. That I have a beautiful, amazing husband who I can ask him, what are you thinking about? He'll go, well, nothing. And I'll go, and he'll say, no,
Right?
really, nothing. I'm not that complex. But we have been programmed, and I think it's ancestral. I mean, this isn't just our fresh DNA. This has been coming down the pipeline for a lot of years. And
Mhm.
we're programmed to be overfunctioners. We're programmed to swallow our truth to keep the peace.
Mhm.
We are programmed to self-sacrifice, and I don't mean that dramatically, but we will put others before ourselves because who else is going to change the baby's diaper? Who else
Mhm.
is going to get the baby to school? Who else is going to make that lunch?
Yeah.
And it goes beyond that. After I was empty nesting, who else is going to volunteer to do that at work? Who else? We
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
push ourselves so hard. And our nervous system, I mean, we don't stop and think about what it's doing to our nervous system. How No, no, we can't rest because we are so conditioned to tie our worth to what we're doing, to how we've
Mm,
performed, to how we've taken care of others, that the thought of resting creates this guilt, this, oh, I can't do that. And it takes away from our ability to let down. So it
mhm,
takes some deprogramming, for lack of a better word, but it also takes getting embodied,
mhm.
that journey. And I mean, there's some simple things we can do that when I say it, you're going to go, "Ah, Julie, that's silly," but it really works because we have to first help our nervous system understand it's safe. Because what's happening, even if we go to set a boundary,
Mhm.
so used to taking care of others, when we go to set a boundary, our nervous system says, "Holy shit, you're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. You're gonna die." And we go, ah,
Yeah.
and it takes a hot minute to learn that I can set this boundary, and it might be something small, like, no, Betty, I can't pick the kids up tomorrow, or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But to set that boundary and help our nervous system learn you're safe. Because if our nervous
Mhm.
system doesn't feel safe, and I don't mean like someone's going to punch us in the nose, our nervous
Yeah,
system
yeah,
makes
yeah,
up
yeah, yeah.
stories. It makes up stories.
Yes.
But if we don't feel safe, if our nervous system doesn't feel relaxed and safe, libido's out the door. I tell you that
Mhm.
pleasure, desire, it's out the door. I'm not safe. Are you kidding me? I'm not doing that right now.
Mhm.
Um, so helping ourselves practice little micro rebellions because we don't want to devastate the entire nervous system, but just little micro rebellions to help our nervous system understand it's okay. Let's complete the stress cycle. Otherwise,
Mhm.
we're just
Mhm.
staying in stress cycle. Let's complete that and let's create some space. So a simple micro rebellion is, just if someone asks you to do something, not to say yes or no, not because we don't want to do it or do want to do it, but to teach our nervous system, sister, take a hot pause. You're not answered
Mhm.
right now. I want to teach you it's safe to wait a hot minute. And then, maybe you text, maybe you call to give the answer. But that, I know it sounds little, but we need to start training our nervous system to open up some space.
Yes. Oh, I'm so guilty of this. I if I see a notification pop up, if I see something, I'll look and it says like now. And I'm like, oh, yep, I'm gonna respond right now. Like, oh, it's been 2 minutes. I better get back to that person. They're waiting on me. And I shouldn't. I should be like, you know what? Actually, right now, I'm in the middle of doing something. I will get to it when I have time. But yes, it's that, oh no, I'm not responding to this person. What are they going to think? They're going to be frustrated if I don't respond to them right now. And again, it's putting their needs before my own because I'm like, now I got to respond. I got to call. and I have a really hard time with not doing that to be like, can wait 5 minutes tomorrow.
Yeah. But that's part of what I also call a good girl syndrome that I think a lot
Yes.
of us,
See.
me too, girl. I had to detox from it. But we've learned, and in our nervous system, that's called fawning. We have fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And the fawning part, and it happens to a lot of us amazing, wonderful, brilliant women, we learned as little girls. And a lot of work I do with ladies is inner child work, but
Mhm.
because she comes with us wherever we go.
Yes, yes.
But the fawning part is we learned early on that to appease kept us in the tribe, if you will,
Mhm.
made people happy with us. We didn't get in trouble if we appeased, which as we grow older, people pleasing,
Yes.
putting others before ourselves, afraid that, oh, if I don't people please, then that saber-toothed tiger is coming after me. My nervous system is like,
Mhm.
oh, I've got to.
Mhm.
Um, So you're absolutely right, but I just invite you, and linguistics are very important. Our brain is listening when we say things. So it's not that you should do anything, sugar. It's not should. It's I choose. I
Mm.
choose to give myself 10 minutes before I even look at that phone or
Yes.
whatever it might be. Um, but that's a whole different, your amygdala goes, because that's the little almond part of our brain that is like, I'm looking for trouble, I'm looking for trouble. and it finds it. But if we tell it, no, I'm choosing to wait, the amygdala will go, oh, well, that's boring. I'm just gonna sit back,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's a good way to look at it. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. The more we can keep ourselves regulated, the more our frontal cortex stays online, which, that's where our problem solving and our
Mhm.
adulting,
Mhm.
those
Yes.
adulting skills come from. Um, but, and that really does make that nervous system regulation so important because if we're in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, the prefrontal cortex is like, forget this, I'm out.
Yeah,
The amygdala comes
absolutely.
in. Yeah,
So one thing I know that we tend to struggle with, because you were talking about like the people pleasing, is if we aren't that good girl, then we start to feel selfish.
exactly.
And how do we separate the difference between being selfish and still wanting to be one with the tribe?
Right, right. Well, the good news is now you have your own car and checkbook, and
Yes,
you're your
yes,
own tribe now.
yes. No, that's true. Yes.
But, and I say that teasingly, that's such a good question. And so many things are coming up. We tie our worth to what we do,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
we're worthy just for being, period. Um, so it's very important as we think about that. And this is an absolute lie that society says, oh, you can't pour from an empty cup. Please, we pour
Watching.
from the empty cup all the daggum time. And you know what happens? We become the empty cup. And
Mm-hmm.
that's an empty, numb, unhappy place to be.
Mm-hmm.
Our needs aren't getting met. We're self-sacrificing. And lo and behold, as we swallow that truth to keep the peace, if it's saying yes when you really mean no,
Mm-hmm.
that ends up in our, I do a lot of chakra psychology. I'm a yoga instructor too, but
I love chakras. Yeah.
that throat chakra leads into your heart chakra. And that
Mm-hmm.
truth ends up in your heart chakra as resentment. And then we feel guilty because we have resentment and shame.
Mm-hmm.
And that's such a waste of energy. That's such a waste of energy. I like to think of resentment as a very sacred message. If
Mm-hmm.
we will soften that heart chakra, breathe into it, and approach it with curiosity, we want to judge. We are so judgy, and we're the judgiest on ourselves.
Yes.
Judge,
Yes.
judge, judge.
Yes.
But if we will approach that heart chakra, or maybe your solar plexus, mine ends up there sometimes, but wherever that resentment, you might find it, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong. That is a earned emotion that has something to tell you, and it's sacred if you will listen and just
Mm-hmm.
approach it, soften it, curiosity, and just ask it, what word do you have for me? What message do you have for me? Our body is so wise. I
Mm-hmm.
promise it has a message for you. Make more time for yourself. Be gentle to yourself. Quit being so judgy towards yourself. It's okay to want something. It's okay to want a different position in bed. It's okay to, to whatever it might be. Because when we are walking around as that empty cup, we're not serving anyone. And we don't show up as our best self. So it's so important as women, we reframe that to we're not being selfish. We want to show up as our best self for the people we love.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to take some time for myself. I've got to learn to say no at times.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I've learned, I mean, I train people to be counselors, and we have to set a lot of boundaries, and they're very uncomfortable with that in the beginning or confrontation, like, oh, I can't do that. Um, Other people need those boundaries as well. It
Mm-hmm.
serves them as well as it serves you. It's a reframe, I guess. Does that make sense?
Definitely does. There are many times where, yeah, other people feel safe when you set a boundary.
So well put. Your kids need it. I'm
Yeah.
also a registered play therapist. I've done a lot of work with I call them wee-was, my kids. And But and I've run psych units for adolescents and adults. My adolescents in psych units would go, I need my parents to set boundaries. If they loved me, they would set boundaries.
Yes.
And uh, little ones, I mean, that's a lot of the parent coaching I would do. You got to set boundaries so they know what to expect. If they touch this phone every time, that's a problem, not just, once. It's the
Hmm.
same with people in our life. Everyone is safer to thrive when we have boundaries.
Absolutely. Oh, I love how you put that. Okay, so going back, you mentioned sex positions, and it just brought me back to the desire where we started.
Yeah.
Went off on a little tangent, but I love it. So you've coached hundreds of women and helped them reconnect to that sensual part after being shut down emotionally for so long. So, to the woman listening in who is maybe they're like, no, it's because of my body image. That's why I feel this way. No, it's
Oh,
the overwhelm. That's why I feel this way. There's so many different things that our mind is very powerful. We start to believe whatever we tell it. How do, how would somebody come back to being present and alive? Like, what is a small win for them to get to that transformation to where they do feel comfortable with pleasure? They do feel comfortable not being selfish. Not we're
yeah.
not selfish. We're losing that word.
Kick it to the curb.
Yes.
Yeah. Taking care of me so I can be better for others.
Yes,
Um,
yes. What's one step so we can get going in that right direction to feel empowered?
yeah, I love that. The very first thing you have to do is regulate that nervous system. And I know I sound like a broken record, but it's so important. And my 45-year-old son was upset earlier today. Well, he's 43. But anyway, I had to kind of walk him through some nervous system regulation because when we are dysregulated, nothing is right. That vagus nerve has got to be brought back online. So
Mm-hmm.
first, the very first thing you have to do is regulate that. So, and that's simple. Wake up, go outside for 30 minutes. I don't care if it is cold, put on a coat. Look at that sunrise.
Mm-hmm.
That our body is made. I mean, that's how our ancestors knew to get
Yeah,
up.
circadian rhythm.
Exactly, exactly. And we sit and scroll on that dadgum phone and drink your coffee. Put the phone down, go outside, have your coffee, and take in that sunrise. That's so important.
Mm-hmm.
Find 5 minutes during the day to really do some deep breathing. We end up breathing from our throat up and
Mm-hmm.
we don't bring in the whole body. It's very important. And as women, I know when I'm working with groups of women, it's fun because it sounds like we're all having orgasms because I'm having them deep breathe and go, oh, to get that. You want that vibration. You want that vagus nerve to feel that vibration. You want to open that throat chakra. That we bottleneck so much here as women. We have swallowed our truth for far too
No,
long.
it's true. I think that's why I have like chronic sore throat. That I've tried every nutrition, I've tried everything under the sun, and I still just have a chronic like postnasal drip, sore throat. And I'm like, and I've looked into that. I'm like, am I not speaking my truth? Like, what is happening? Why am I
Yeah,
stuck?
it might be stuck from years gone back. I mean, it might be some inner child work stuck there, but
Yes.
singing loud, that it's so fun when you have like 10 women doing that together.
I love
But
it.
I mean, and or go have a good orgasm. Go
Yep.
have a lot of good
Yes.
sex. But uh, so getting that vagus nerve back online, that deep breathing, being, you've got to open that bandwidth for yourself. And it's very important that I said the phone already, but I think it's important we think about how much we're scrolling, how much
Mm-hmm.
news we're taking in, how many things we're taking in that we're intaking so much that help keep us dysregulated.
Mm-hmm.
So really, maybe do some fasting from technology for a hot minute. I mean, I know we have to use it at work, but the scroll piece, really being cognizant of how much of yourself, and I think you're numbing. I think we numb when we do that sometimes.
Oh yes. Yes.
So I think it's really important to be very cognizant and go, and even I'll say to myself sometimes, I'll pat my cheeks and I'll say, okay, Julie, you've done the best you can. That releases oxytocin, which is
Mm,
the love hormone, which helps to bring blood pressure down, regulate yourself. So having a practice where I
mhm,
really want to scroll, but you're doing the best you can right now, sweetie. Well, it's important you say your name. Your brain needs to hear that
mhm.
as you're working through an urge to scroll,
Yes.
Um, those are really simple things, but the very first thing we have to do is get that nervous system, start to get it regulated, asking yourself, and that's what, full body scan. Where am I
Mhm,
feeling what I'm feeling with curiosity, not judgment? Oh,
mhm,
why is that happening in my chest? Let's just think about that. Um, and when I scan with my clients, we do crown, third eye, throat, we go through the
mhm,
chakras
mhm,
and
mhm.
just get a good sense. Our root chakra is really important here because if it doesn't, that's where our safety lives. And if
Yes.
if root chakra is imbalanced, we're going to have some problem getting that nervous system back online if it doesn't feel safe. So, doing your work, maybe some yoga poses, and then that sacral chakra. I don't know if you've ever been doing yoga or something, and once we women tend to open those hips, a lot of emotion
Mhm,
lives there. I can't tell you how many times I work with women and tears come as we open up those hips, and it's
mhm.
okay. Nothing wrong with that. But that release is really important. Um,
Yeah.
so balancing those areas. And then we have to quit asking permission. We have to just do it for ourselves, desire, opening
Mhm,
up our permission for ourselves to get to desire. I think
mhm,
sometimes we carry some shame and old messaging around that. Um,
mhm.
I love parents. I'm a parent. I know messed my boys up without meaning to. I did not mean to. I was just doing the best I could. We've had lots of
Yes.
talks as adults but I think sometimes parents, you get caught touching yourself or whatever when you're little and you get shamed for it and you don't really understand and you carry that with you into your adult life. You don't even know where the heck
Mhm.
it came from.
Yes.
Um, but I think it's really important. And I just did a podcast on this, my Sexy After 50 podcast on sex toys and vibrators, not just for orgasm, but to find erotic. Now, this is just you doing a self-mapping exploration,
Mhm,
pleasure exploration for yourself, but taking that vibrator and just taking it on like your wrist or maybe your throat or just various areas. You do it for a week. Eventually, you get to your genitals, but at first, you're just trying to wake that vagus nerve back up, get that nervous
mhm,
system back online. Your pathways aren't dead, they're just frozen from
mhm,
years of over expectation from yourself.
mhm,
Where what we do when we're really working hard, we brace, and that pelvic floor is like a rock.
mhm.
It's
Yeah.
kind of hard to have orgasm with. That's just a rock. So we want to get things released and
Yes.
accepting of pleasure again. So, um, just little things you can do because it's not going to, very rare do I have a woman that's like, here it is, back.
Yeah.
It's little steps, little baby steps that sometimes I have to remind her, well, last week it felt like this, but you're saying this week, oh, hell, I forgot about that. I mean, we forget the progress.
Mhm, mhm.
And
No,
I'll be
that's
quiet. I'm sorry.
no, no, I love it all. I mean, that's why I have you as an expert this week because I want to dive into all of it because even talking to girlfriends, I have one girlfriend where we talk about toys and we talk about experiences in the bedroom and all this stuff, and we're very open. And then I have another friend where we start to talk about it, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, no, you use
Right,
a vibrator? Isn't your husband enough?" And I'm
right.
like, "Wow, yes, he is, but we have been together for 15 years and it's okay to experiment and try new things and toys." But the shame there, like right away, me and my one friend were like, oh, is it not okay? No, it's okay.
it's healthy. And your nervous system, it needs novelty. If it's not, I mean, that's why, if you remember when you first met your husband, when y'all are dating, how fun and exciting and alive
Yes.
and woo, everything was because it was new and novel. And I've been married 35 years. After 35 years, you have to really be careful, or it's like, I do this, you do that, we do this,
Mhm.
done. And your nervous system goes, screw that. This is boring. I'm going to sit back here and smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
I'm not getting involved in this. But novelty, that's what keeps that libido alive. And
Hmm.
vibrators, have fun to go buy toys together and use them in the bedroom together
Hmm.
and different textures and we love ice and heat play. That's fun. I mean,
Ooh.
waking up your system with novelty because girl, there are some fun Airbnbs that are just for sex. They have they have the houses painted and I mean it's just like a sex dungeon that you go
Yeah,
to.
that's so fun. Literally, my husband and I, we have dates, and I have three little ones. My youngest will be 2 next month, and people come to babysit, and I'm like, okay, well, if they're here and my little one's not sleeping through the night, so nobody wants to do a sleepover, so we will
Right.
literally rent a hotel room just
Yeah.
to have our time. And people are like, "What? You were in a hotel room just for sex?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of feel like it makes you feel scandalous, but like you said, the novelty, the newness, you're like, oh,
It's awesome. Meet in the bar, have him pick you up, do some
yeah."
role play. That's what's going to keep your sex life alive. We and having difficult conversations. I've done a lot of marriage counseling and I cannot tell you how many couples are ashamed to even talk about sex. How in the hell do you know what you like if you don't talk about it? I mean,
True.
you're just bracing through a horrible position that's killing you just so he's happy. I mean, at
No, thank you.
63, well, 63, I got to stretch. I got to get ready for that. I don't break anything, but I mean, I'm
Love it.
pretty good. I'm pretty fit, but it shocks me how many I mean, like your sweet little friend who had some shame around even talking about that. That stuff she's carrying forward from childhood. Someone
Mhm.
somewhere shamed her, or some ancestor was shamed, and it's in her DNA. But you know,
Mhm.
we don't judge. We love them through that. But those conversations, people don't have the words. I know in my book, Are We Gonna Have Sex or What? I've even included some scripts because I've experienced so many couples that couldn't even talk about sex. And I highly recommend you never do it naked in the bedroom. That's not the time to do it. We don't want anyone to feel like they did something wrong, but that's a kitchen table. You can be naked at the kitchen table, but it's a kitchen table talk to talk about those things. And it's never about someone's doing something wrong. It's about this was so wonderful. I'm curious about this. Would this be fun? There
Mhm.
are sex services. No, I didn't say that right. It's not a sex service. What is a service, but you can sign up for monthly little packages that come that have sex games, maybe you want to try a little bondage, maybe you want to try a glass dildo instead of, I mean,
Mhm.
and it comes with, there's little videos you can watch, and they come with little erotica cards to give you ideas how to start and set up the bedroom. And what a treat to
Yes.
give each other that for your anniversary. Let's do this for a year.
You gotta keep it fun, exciting, new.
Yes, and each month something comes, you're like, well, hell, I never would have thought of that. Let's do that.
Mhm. Mhm.
But those kinds of things, once you get past the shame of, oh, my body isn't just right, and let me tell you, at 63, it is not like it was at 20. But I am so much more embodied and
Mhm.
sovereign and confident in who I am. And
Mhm.
my give a F,
Yeah.
it's kind of, I need a t-shirt that says,
I just give a damn's busted, whatever that song
yes,
was.
got news for you. I don't give an F, that t-shirt we should all get. But when you get to that place, and we can all get there, because I tell you, I was diagnosed as neurotic at 3 years old. My doctor in Fort Worth, Texas. Who does that to this was 66, things were different. But that's to say, I didn't come up easy. I had an eating disorder. I had a bad marriage with an abusive husband. didn't believe I was smart enough to go to college until I was 25. Just I, the work I've done has not been easy, but it's been worth it because I can
Mhm.
sit in my body today and be very comfortable in my skin. And that's what I want for everyone. It's what I want for everyone.
No, that's so good. One of my clients, I was really excited because after a few weeks, she's like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't think this was possible, but I had sex with the lights on and I felt sexy."
I love that. I love that. I I have friends, and again, well, I'm the oldest of the friend group because I married a younger man. Which is why I said we have sex or what, because he knew what the hell he's doing. I had to teach him. But anyway, sorry, Kelly. Well, he knows I say that. He knows I say that. But there's people my age who've never had sex together and seen each other naked. Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
We have
I
a naked house. We all run.
Yes. I mean, because there's no shame in being naked. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. I love to see my husband naked.
Mhm.
And yeah, we're naked house. I mean, the boys are gone. I wouldn't do that to them or they need therapy, and we live out on down a 3 mile road in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of 1,000 acres. So if someone's looking in my windows, there's trouble to be had. But we run around. I mean, I can go outside and feed the goats naked. Nobody's gonna say
Love
anything.
it. I love it.
But that is a juicy, wonderful thing to be able to be confident in yourself and not care. And I
Mhm.
promise, my ass has deflated. It is not the same one I had at 23. It's not. But my husband still likes it.
I love that. I love that. Yes, that's so good. I know even I'm like, how old am I now? 36. There's times where I'm like, I look at old pictures and I'm like, wait, my booty, I need to do more squats. I need to do this. But he's like, babe, I love your body. And he's always, he can't get his hands off me, which I love that.
Wonderful.
So I'm like, you know what? We're doing something right. So I'm just going to keep doing what we're doing.
Right. Yeah, my sweet husband says I look exactly the same. I don't, but he says I look exactly the same as the day he met me, which I mean, that's,
You
I
are
love that.
gorgeous.
Well, you're very kind, but it, I mean, it's very sweet for him to say that. Now, my confidence comes from within me. My
Mhm.
internal locus of control is with me, and that's what all women need. We
Yes.
can't have it on the outside where it's like a flag blowing in the wind. We have to
Yeah.
learn to trust ourselves. And we do that through work, right? Doing our
Yes.
the hard work, the hard work.
Yes. I know so many of us rely on the external validation, but it all starts in here.
It does. And
Yeah.
until we put it inside, we're never going to have that confidence to be our complete selves because X might say one thing, Z might, everyone. I have come to believe, and now I've been a dean at a university. I've been a professor for a number. It's kind of a toxic place to work. Where I'm going with this is to learn it is none of my business what someone thinks about me.
Oh, that's so true. That's so
It's
true. And it's just them projecting how they feel about themselves anyways. So if you have something negative to say, I'm sorry that you don't feel good in your own skin.
exactly, exactly. When someone's hateful to you, it's way more information about them than you. And we have the opportunity to not let it activate us, not let us go into fight, flight, freeze, or appease. Go, well, I'm going to send you love and release.
Yes, yes. No, that's definitely one of the challenging parts, even with family, is families can always be tough, but it's just with the nervous system regulation, taking a deep breath in and not reacting, the boundaries, it all ties in together. It's not just about the sexual desire, it's all about our homes and what you mentioned earlier, the confidence. This has so much effect on all of our life decisions.
Everything, everything. I mean, my oldest son was born in 82. I was the ripe age of 19. So, long story there, but I was married. But
Hey, that's your story.
but and then well, anyway, that's a whole other podcast. But Back then I didn't know squat about nervous system regulation. I would have been such a different parent had I known that.
Mhm.
I think that's the biggest gift we can give our children is to learn how
Mhm.
to regulate that nervous system and be present for themselves because that's what comes. All the meditation apps and all that yummy stuff, unless that frontal cortex is online, it's not going to work.
Mhm.
So we have to regulate that nervous system so we can get to the meditation and we can get to the gratitude and we can get to those
Yes.
things that research shows is so important for us. But but I think they leave off the piece. Um, we got to regulate that nervous system first.
Yes. It's so true. It's so true. I feel sometimes like a broken record because I'm like nervous system regulation and reducing the chronic stress. And most of my clients come to me for weight loss.
Okay.
And because I've gained 50, 60 pounds with each kid and I'd be able to lose it again and become lean. And everyone's like, what are you eating? What's your movement like? I'm like, yes, that's all important. But
Right.
nervous system regulation is step one because you can have adrenal fatigue, you can have all these things going, and you could feel like you're doing everything right and still feel stuck
Right.
because you're not focusing on your nervous system. And when I tell people that, they're just like, all right, let me go find another trainer. I'm like,
That's
no,
boring. I
please.
don't want to do that.
Exactly. That sounds like a lot of work. I'm not doing
Yeah.
that. I'm like, no, that is step one.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we can get to the good stuff. And if you're stuck in that stress cycle, if your nervous system isn't regulated, you are eating cortisol all day long, which is going to impact how your weight is or isn't
Yes.
moving. Yeah, there's a lot to it. And
Yes.
and I just want to underscore, I sucked. I crashed and burned. I did it wrong. So I'm not saying, you know, I'm I'm here as someone in recovery, not someone as, you know, oh, this was easy. No, no. It's every day I have to remind myself.
Yes. I have absolutely loved our conversation. And I know you mentioned that you had a couple books, you had a way for women to find you, to work with you. And for the mama who is listening in, how can they work with you? What's step one? You have so many amazing resources. I know you have a podcast. I want to hear it all. How can
Oh,
we dig with you a little bit deeper?
well, thank you, sweetie. I appreciate you asking. I first have the two books, In Pursuit of Soul Joy, which is burnout and compassion fatigue. And then once you're recovered, are we going to have sex or what? A guide for feeling alive. Um, I have Compassion Fatigue Cure podcast and Sexy After 50 podcast that goes with each book. My website is the resource. Everything is linked on my website, www.juliemerriman, MERRIMAN, phd.com. And I've got a somatic signature quiz on there where you can see, well, where is burnout? What is my somatic signature? Why am I not able to? Ooh. And
Okay.
I've got Reignite Your Desire and Fire. Those are free resources if someone wants to reignite that fire and desire.
I love it. I'll link all of that in the show notes because I know I want to just look into that. I love learning more. I'm just like a sponge. Give me it
Oh,
all.
I love it. I love it too. Yeah.
And then, is there one last thing that we haven't covered today that you might want to share with the audience just about who they are, wherever they are currently in their lives, about compassion or anything to help them on their journey to healing and regulating their nervous system?
Yeah, absolutely. You are enough. We all have these core messages. And I know when I work with ladies, we go back and explore those. A lot of times we've gotten a message somewhere we're not enough. So if I do this, 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 will you love me? And that you're lovable. We are enough and you're lovable just like you are. You're exactly enough.
Oh, good. Thank you so much, Julie, for joining me today. And I am so truly thankful for your time and your lessons. And you've gone through the hard times, so then that way you have so much knowledge to share with other women who can feel seen because they're going through the same things. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me, sweetie. I appreciate it.